Yeah, so people can because there is a part of the U.S. flag that talks about not using the flag as clothing stuff,
Hmm.
and people interpret that to mean you shouldn't have on your T-shirt or you shouldn't have this, something that depicts the. And I just see it as you're being too literal. I think it don't drape the flag around your body. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And walk around with it on like a coat.
Correct.
But it is an actual
You know
crown
what I
of
mean?
burn on
Even
the
or
American
even
flag,
like
though,
don't
right?
put it on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Don't let the flag touch.
Yeah, you let it touch the ground.
Yeah, don't
You
let
know what I
you
mean?
can't let it touch the ground. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So from that standpoint, that's why. And don't you start with me, cups. But that was where I started beefing with Drew Brees, right? Because
Yeah.
like when the whole thing was happening, he was like, "My grandfather served in World War II, blah blah blah," and I was like, "Yeah, mine did too." And then he came home and got treated like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Hey,
So
yo,
like, fuck
my
your
nigga.
grandfather. Like, you know
It's,
what I'm saying? Like,
For real,
not for
for real.
real, but you know what I mean.
yeah, but it's
You know what I'm
funny as
saying?
hell.
Like, I ain't trying to disrespect
My
your grand,
dad,
disrespecting your comment.
right?
No, I
My
definitely
dad
agree
is
with
my
it.
dad. Like my family's from Louisiana, right? So my dad is like a diehard Saints fan. So I thought it was funny because my dad was like, "Oh, Drew Brees said that. Oh man, I ain't never buying none of his shit no more." This nigga took a
With the
brand new
moral
trash
extended bread.
bag, put it in the trash can, and then took a picture of the Drew Brees jersey in the trash. And then he made a whole Facebook post about it. Like I ain't never
Oh
did it.
gosh.
And then my
Well,
dad.
well,
So then no, because after the post, I mean after he took the pictures though, where do you think that Drew Brees jersey was? In his motherfucking closet. Like
see, and that's why. But see, that's one of the things that I used to struggle with because symbol, the Florida League,
Totally, yeah.
was, yeah, that was something that they were branding on black back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So it was like things where I used to see that sign and I would get upset. Like I wasn't offended. Like I wasn't like, why they wear, but it
yeah,
was just more like fuck the Saints.
I feel that.
True.
I mean, I'm kind
You
of
know what I'm
I'm kind
saying?
of torn on the whole Redskins thing, right? Not really, but I think I think it's insane that they took the whole Redskin thing away because it was not the Indian people weren't mad about it or the Native
Well,
Americans,
like my
but they
my
weren't
thing
mad.
about it is like my thing about it is there are schools on reservations that have that as the mascot.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, you know what I mean? So like this was what I think talking about where white people get to a point where they try to
And
overcorrect.
that's when it's a pandering effort, and that's what I get.
Yeah, and
Well,
Like
and
yeah, if you're offended by it, start a petition.
for sure, because in Richmond there was definitely an overhaul of Confederate uh, symbolism. Like we got rid of all the statues. We got rid of all the names on schools of Confederate either generals or paraphernalia, whatever.
Right.
and you see, and I'm confused on that, Cups. Like, not the, you can finish your thought, bro. I don't want
No, but I feel what you're saying. Well, not like I feel what you're saying, like, but I mean, because I mean, I feel like places of education shouldn't be named after people who were anti-education. But you know what I'm saying? Regardless if they were Confederates or whatever, it's like they did not stand for the betterment.
Well, I
Uh, but
I, I
go
I
ahead.
feel like you can't take away slavery, right? You can't take away
to. Right.
history, whatever. But I feel like if you wanted to do something in good faith, like like you tell me to get over slavery, but then you holding on to something that represents slavery. So that's my problem with it. Is like it doesn't bother me. Like I'm not
My
offended by
problem
it,
is
but don't tell me that we're trying to move forward when your school is named General Lee.
yeah. My problem with that is not it's not necessarily like the trying to fix it or whatever. My problem is the picking and choosing of the good slave master versus the bad one. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Uh
oh
Yeah,
huh.
yeah, we'll name the school Abraham Lincoln because he freed the slaves, but it's like nigga, he still was a slave owner. Like
He was trying to send them to Liberia.
like
for
you know
sure.
what I'm saying? So
Just trying to relocate these niggas.
for me, it's like bro, we can't just You know, for me, like I don't even like the tearing down of the statues and all that because to me, you're taking away history. I think the statue should stay, and then when the statue stay, we tell everybody we don't like this statue, and this is why. Because now you're giving somebody an educational principle behind it. You
And
know what I'm
what
saying?
we
So,
Change the name of the school. The
what
school
we
doesn't
did.
need it,
so I got
but you can leave the
so
statue.
I got a couple of different thoughts on that. You know, the first one is ain't nothing stopping you from putting the statue in a museum. The second thing is you have to back to why those statues were put in place.
Yeah.
You know, because the Civil War ended in what 1865. You know, a lot of those statues didn't go up to like the 1920s, the 1930s,
Absolutely.
and it was a reminder. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, all these still couldn't vote or, you know, like couldn't do certain things within society. You know, you're walking around your city, look you that commemorates. It's like it doesn't affect our generation as
Yeah,
much,
not more. Yeah,
but we're talking about like people that walking around looking at statues of the people that own their parents or their grandparents.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
From
That's
that
the problem that I
standpoint, yeah,
have.
you're right. That makes complete sense. You know,
But it doesn't affect me today.
yeah. I mean, I feel like this generation for sure. Like, you know, there's never going to be a quote unquote end to slavery, but if there was a time where we can actually see like something like that happen, it's this generation where everybody's so open minded and free. And it's just like, you know, these kids nowadays, these 12-year-olds, 15, 16, 18-year-olds, like they're so past the whole, you know, you look at it this way because you were taught this or whatever. A lot of them are just like,
Right.
fuck my parents and their thoughts. Like,
But now our government is in the
It's just
process
a
of
whole
taking
different access to
our government. But our government is
yeah,
but right now our government is in the process of taking
that's like today.
stuff out of the
Like that's what it's like
and
now.
stuff. Yeah, like they taking our like African American stuff out of stuff is like the Smithsonian. That's going on like right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of one of those things where like if you're
What the heck?
doing
Hold on.
tit
I'll
for
be back.
tat,
I mean, keep
where
talking. I'll be-
like I don't know if it's tit for tat where it's like, oh, you were trying to take our statues down and you changed the name of some of our military bases. Therefore, we're taking your shit out of here. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that. You know what I'm saying? But that's why, like, for me, when people talk about, and I don't want to get too political, but when people talk about Trump or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is the shit that he's doing. And you're telling me that he's not racist or
Right.
that he's not, you know what I mean? Like, he's literally trying to take history from
Out of
people that I'm in the White House.
they're trying to take black acknowledgments out of black accomplishments out of like military textbooks, like you said, like just all the places where they're trying to get rid of DEI and stuff like that. And you was mentioning the fort changes and stuff like I remember, but down in Petersburg, they got Fort Lee. They changed that jump to the I don't know. Have you seen the movie called The 666 with Kerry Washington?
No, but I've heard of it.
It's about the women in World War II who sorted all the mail for the soldiers. They sorted like thousands or I think millions of pieces of mail in just a couple weeks, and they had renamed the Fort Lee after I believe two of those women. I forgot what the fort is called now, but
Well, that's like down in North Carolina, down in Fayetteville. You know, they had Fort Bragg, and they changed the name to like Fort Lee or something along those lines. But then when Trump became president again, they changed it back to Fort Bragg. But then Hegseth said that they found some private or whatever named Bragg. You know, so it's not named after the person that it was originally named after.
right.
And it's like, but you wanted it to change Fort
So bad.
Bragg. So when people see Fort Bragg, they're not thinking about this private first class or whatever he was. You know what I'm saying? They think that, oh, Trump changed it back to what it's supposed to be.
Right.
And those are the dangerous games that he plays, that his supporters be like, you're making a big deal out of nothing. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, I've never walked past, and it might be a little bit different for me because I'm not from the South.
Yeah.
I've never walked past a Confederate statue and felt sad or offended or like any of that stuff. Like I just ignore it. Like I see it, and then I just did it. Like, you know, because I'm also a believer of when you react to certain things, you let them win.
But would you? And I definitely agree, because it's not like, because what's on the screen right now is the Robert E. Lee statue, and that's what it looked like in 2020 after, you know, George Floyd passed away and we had the protests and stuff like that. But if you was to see it before that, you know, when it was clean, hold on, not that one. That's what it would look like when it was clean, you know.
Right.
And this is Monument Avenue, right off Broad Street. One of the most busy, like right straight behind that, like in this shot right there is Broad Street, one of the busiest streets, if not the busiest street in Richmond, Virginia. And
Monument every day
has a row, a line. They had a line of statues. They had a monument to Jefferson Davis. They had Robert E. Lee. They had a Jeb Stuart statue. They had
there we go.
I believe they had several, but those were just the three main big jumps that's right there on Front Street.
And they're still there.
That's why.
But what I'm saying though is when I would see these often, but it's not like I would see them and like I would see like a specter or something, or like something would resonate with me. But I also understand that it's a symbol of hate for sure.
Right. I mean, well, like I always tell people, right? Like people, time is not as far removed as people think it is. Like my grandmother, rest in peace, she was born in 1936.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My mom, you know, was born in 1955.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom has stories about posed against the wall, you know, getting chased by the dogs and all that stuff like that. Now, granted, I didn't, you know, go through that, but I was born in 1981. And when you go back at it, it's like Martin Luther King was murdered. Like people say Martin Luther King died. He didn't die. He got killed. Yeah. He got killed 13 years before I was born. That's not that long ago.
Yeah,
it's not.
Right. Yeah, because Martin Luther King died in 1968, and you know it's like,
yeah,
my mom was born in 1968, so I'm just like, I've always thought about it like that. Like,
stay there, Cups. Quick, go back. And that's the other thing right there that I don't understand, because it's like, no, it's not hate, it's heritage, or whatever the case may be. It's like, I know that ain't the only part of your heritage.
Well, you got to remember, a lot of them don't have it.
Like, you know what that flag represents.
Yeah, but you got to. Hey, but you know what? And this is another thing, right? This is something that I seriously be trying. I had a big thing that I used to do about it. I don't do it no more. But I feel like when you call a white boy a cracker, you're giving him a compliment. It's not
100%. I agree with that.
It's not the insult that you think it is. You're calling him what he wants you to be. Like, he wants to be the nigga.
You're calling him your superior.
Yeah, you're calling him your superior. You're calling him a cracker, like. You know what I'm saying? So like when people say that, I'm like, bro, it's not the insult you think it is.
But it's ignorance. It's just ignorance, man. Like, you know, and just like, you know, I wish Rez was here right now, because, you know, him being from South Carolina, you know, what was it, 2015, when that girl climbed the Capitol building to take that flag down? Why was that flag on their Capitol building?
Come on, bro.
In 2015 or whatever year that was.
That's crazy. I didn't even.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and I wish he was here right now so he could give you I don't know all the details. I just know it was a black woman that climbed it and took it down
on a public building.
Yes, and you know who the governor was at the time?
Who?
Probably somebody that's high up right now.
It was Nikki Haley.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. That's the stuff. So when you run for president, and you're talking about like, I don't support racism. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. I'm not even going to blanket and say that you do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you were in charge of that state and it was on top of the building.
Yeah. Because not supporting it doesn't mean you condone it. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
or not
Right.
supporting it doesn't
Right.
mean that you don't.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
For sure.
Right. And that's where we make a mistake because sometimes some people, they're cowards, I guess, if you want to look at it like that. But some people just don't want to go against the grain or, you know what I mean? Like all that kind of stuff. And I mean, she got to
it's
win
like
elections, right?
it's just like the other day when I don't know, maybe it was Adam that brought it up. Somebody brought it up where it was like Trump doesn't has never denounced racism, blah 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 blah. And you know me, I'm just a Trump troll, so I'm always trying to throw something in there that's like but Trump did denounce it, but when he broke it down, it was like, well, Trump has never told people or got mad at people for using his name, on the side of their movements. It's like, how deep are we going to go in this hole? You know what I mean? Because
well, like the thing is, Trump knows who he's talking to when he says certain things because he's trying to win elections and stuff.
Yeah, of course. And at the end of the day, like in 2016, like before I was a Trump fan, like I was like I said, bro, I used to be like crazy Hotep, nigga. Like I was bad. Like I did not fuck with it. It was crazy. And it's like, it's funny now because if you would have told me in 2015 that I would have a Trump shirt in my closet, I probably would have slapped you. Like, because it's just like, what? Like, but
yeah,
looking back, it's just like that person that I was so angry, and I just feel like it's unnecessary. Like it doesn't get you anywhere. Like you can be like, I still like deep down, I'm like, man, fuck them white boys. But it's like, living that way doesn't get you where you want to be. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And it's like you gotta hold that shit for when it's important, or you gotta do it the right avenue. You know what I mean? So,
right.
It's like, yeah, you're exactly. Trump is a bigot, not a racist. 1000%. I'm a bigot in some ways, but you know what I'm saying? Like that's really what it is. He's a bigot. I wouldn't even say that he's xenophobic because like I don't think that. Because when you're a businessman like Trump, you can't be xenophobic. The nigga's got friends.
I don't know if he's xenophobic. I don't know if he's xenophobic. I think that he knows literally that a portion of his base is xenophobic.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like we have to remember, it's a business model at the end of the day, and yeah, both sides are always gonna have fucked up people. Like when we take away all the funniness and all the I did this and did that. Like at the end of the day, there's never a perfect politician. There's never going to be a perfect politician. There's never going to be any perfect candidates. You know what I mean? You're just going to take the good with the bad. And I feel like when everybody just wakes up and realizes that, it'll be so much easier. It's not, okay, well, what are you only going to do for black people? Yes, that is something that we definitely need. But at the same time, that shouldn't be the only thing that you're asking for.
Well, that's what got Kamala and Obama in trouble because they were basically like, I'm not the president of black people,
right?
And people were like, see, they don't care about us, and I'm like, yeah, let Kamala get on TV. People already hate her as it is, and all this kind of shit. Let her get on TV and be like, oh yeah, I care, y'all.
It was only gonna get worse, bro. The insults were gonna get like people. I hate the fact that motherfuckers be lying and acting like they respect women in this country when we know damn well, like at the end of the day, the super elites are still men first, women second. You know what I mean?
They be hating AOC fine ass.
Oh my boy! hey, 25, do me a favor, big dog. Can you check for me the final score of the Chicago-Miami game?
I don't even got a computer right now.
I got one. Hold on.
I could, Radical Jack. Can you tell me what the final?
Yeah, the Cubs and the Marlins. Yeah,
from the final score from the Cubs and the Marlins.
But that's the thing though, is that like people I think forget that it's politics and that these people do what they need to do, maintain their position. Like you look at a guy like Ricky Rubio or I always call that man Ricky Rubio, Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio.
You know, yeah, back in 2016, you know, him and Trump were like at each other's throats. You know what I'm saying? And now he's Trump's right hand man.
3-1
You know,
Miami.
That was the final score.
Yep.
You said it was
There
3-1.
you go.
3-1 Miami.
Yeah, under 4.5. There you go.
Come on, bro.
And then you
You
and
want
then you
somebody?
had nah, like our new member, you know, apparently did.
Oh, okay.
But you know, but it's like but like Ted Cruz, right? Trump was talking about how ugly his wife is and you know all this kind of shit. Now that man like he licking Trump boots.
Well, you
Crazy.
know the other thing that's gonna happen, right? Like these next 4 years is just the eye opener. Like we'll never have another celebrity like Trump in office. From now on,
Oh, this motherfucker keeps talking about running again.
yeah, I know, because he's gonna try to do the whole, you know, they're gonna try to reverse the whole 4-year thing. That's not gonna happen. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. That shit's not happening. I don't care. Like I'm not even going into the light of that bullshit. Like it's not gonna happen. And you know, people are like, oh, well, he ain't got the people to support, like, or he's got everybody up his ass, and nobody wants to say no. Niggas ain't supporting that, bro. That's
I don't
just
know,
not
bro.
gonna happen.
I mean, I would leave that, but I mean, he got the House, Senate, and the Supreme Court.
Yeah. I feel you. Yeah, but you got to remember this. What's better? What does everybody really want? Power.
Hey,
Power.
every time,
If I'm giving this dude everything, I can't get it. And somebody like
hey,
vice president would never support that. Like,
you know, every time Trump comes up and people say he can't, that motherfucker does. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He does. Devil, you know, what is it God did? Devil did.
well, go clean it up, and then when you're done, we'll go see.
You know, we're talking about this for what, 9 years now. He ain't gonna be the president. He did that twice. You know what I'm saying?
And I still think he got impeached more, if not the same times, as many times as he's been elected.
You know what I'm saying? And then you got you know, he got his whistlers, you know, his MTGs and you know, people like that.
How
what
is
I'm
she
saying?
allowed
So
to
I
still
guess
participate in politics? That's what I want to know. If she participates in politics
because
at a major fucking level,
you know because you can't remove her and justify what he's doing. You know what I mean?
like, oh my god,
And Bolbert, whatever her name is, Laura Bolbert, and you know, Mike,
over.
what is it, Mike Lee, I think his name is. But you know, but that's the thing, right? Is that everything that Republicans have told us that they've been afraid of and they don't want to happen to our country, they're responsible for now.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And they don't see it. They just see it as like it's like a fight. Y'all did this. So now I got to get my get back.
And that shit is crazy, dog.
Just to blame, so what's going to happen, right, is midterm up next year, and the Democrats are going to get back a lot of seats and win at least one of the houses in Congress.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just go start blaming Democrats for everything.
Hold on, I have the. You know, I always got a video. Just give me 1 second. I was trying to find it.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I know we was talking about Democratic possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's got to be Gavin Newsom. I don't know who else. Maybe
What about Beto? You don't like Beto?
I do, but I don't think I don't think he can win. You know what I'm saying? And like, I think people view him a certain way that, like, they see him as like the idea of woke. I guess like the personification of woke.
How do you word?
So I like Gretchen. I like Gretchen Whitmer from Michigan, but.
So, are you saying
what is
an example, or are you saying that like you literally don't like her because she's a woman?
No, I said I like her, but like but I'm just saying, like, I don't think she could because she's a woman.
Oh yeah. Like I've been on record saying this. I'll never vote for a woman president, and I know that sounds fucked
It,
up,
it, it,
you know, but
you know what I mean? There's a guy in Pennsylvania that I can't think of his name right now.
because what's it called? People
He's a
always
Jewish dude.
people. You know what's funny? Like people be like, "You have a daughter and you think like that." Yeah, because my daughter can still be a leader. I just don't want her to be the leader. There's a big difference.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
What?
Like,
I'm not gonna lie, that's crazy.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
All right, ish.
no, because I look at it just like this, right? I would be so disappointed if my daughter got married and then she came to the house and she's running the house, like her husband is second fiddle. I would be mad about that because it's like you didn't marry a man, you married a bitch. Like you married some dude that's, oh yeah, whatever you say, babe. Of course, darling. Yeah. Oh well, you know, whatever she says, you know, we just go that way. Well, whatever Journey says, it's, you know, like nigga, what? What are we talking about?
Yo,
That's crazy. I feel you though.
what is his name? I can't think of his name right now.
You said out of Pennsylvania. I don't even know.
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
You know who-
because I know. I mean, a lot of Democrats. A lot of Democrats got mad because he met with Trump, and he was like, "Yo, that's the president." You know what I mean? Like, you know, if the president want to meet with you, you know, or if you're trying to get stuff done from the president, you gotta talk to the president.
So we about to go ahead and segue. As we know, the MVP of the league went down in horrible fashion, like the Titanic. It was bad. It was ugly. He finished the night with 22 points. 9 of them
20.
came from free throws. It's just, I mean, shout out to Alex Caruso for one. Also, shout out to Aaron Gordon for showing up hurt. Shout out to Michael Porter, who I don't know what it's going to take for Michael Porter to decide that he wants to play basketball.
I'm about to say, like, did
Well, I mean,
he just turn into a different person, or like,
Well, he's hurt too.
is he
He's
hurt?
always hurt.
Yeah, he got that thing on. He got that big ass shredder thing on his shoulder.
It was the back, then it was the shoulder.
So, Cubs, how far do we take it with the with injury prone? Like, how much forgiveness do we offer somebody like a Joel sorry ass Embiid? You know, like
He's already cut from my joke. He's a Paul George as far as I'm concerned.
yo, buddy gonna sit up here and be like, oh yeah, y'all's MVP couldn't win a game 7. Nigga, what? The audacity.
The mitigated gall of one Joel Embiid to speak about anybody
The
with a playoff resume.
The Joel Embiid that has never played in the conference finals.
Come on, bro.
Joel Embiid that literally had to beg for an MVP.
Come on, bro.
Joel Embiid that literally in that playoff run that Cups likes to hold over my head because Trae Young got to the Eastern Conference Finals. The Joel Embiid that went 4 for 20 in one of those games. How you as big as he is and go 4 for 20?
4 for a dub.
That ain't even logical.
Come on, dog. Shout out to Mr. Logical. So again, I don't know what it's gonna take for Michael Porter to decide that he wants to play valuable like basketball or meaningful basketball. I honestly haven't seen Michael Porter jump off the screen since he's been in high school.
Well, you know, some people just everybody's not supposed to be great. I think we as fans, we hate grasping that because it's like, man, I really fuck with you, bro. But some niggas is just not supposed to be great, you know?
LeBron is great. This nigga not even you know what I'm saying? I'm just being real though. Like at least Mohawk Danny Green gonna go out there and get you 10, 9.
Danny Green had the record for threes finals at one point.
Yep, at one point.
That's what I'm talking about, bro. Danny Green gonna go get you. He gonna get you one. We'll get you a couple. How, bro, Cactus Jack, can you tell us what Michael Porter Jr.'s stat line was from the Game 7 between the Nuggets and the Thunder, please?
Sure can. Let's see.
You ain't gonna ask about Brody's, huh?
You said ask about who?
You ain't gonna ask about Brody's, huh?
Hey,
Shout out to Brody. No, because shout out to Brody because when everybody was chilling late in the third quarter, he was still getting chased down blocks on the likes of Chet Holmgren, knocking niggas out.
I hate the hate that Russell Westbrook gets, bro. Like the nigga bangs it 110% every time, and niggas, oh, Russell Westbrook sucks. And it's like, bro, I'd rather have Russell Westbrook on my team every day than Joel Embiid. Every day.
Yeah. Day, twice on Sunday.
No, sir. Aaron Gordon had 8. Michael Porter Jr. had 6. He went 3 for 8, 0 for 4 from 3. Jokic had 20, went 5 for 9, 1 for 2 from 3. Jamal Murray
took one shot in the second half.
9 attempts.
9 attempts. And Jamal Murray had 6 for 16, 1 for 8 from 3.
Hey, that's who I was looking for. Hey, Residente, can you do me a favor real quick?
What you need?
Can you give us some detail about the girl up on the Capitol building and took down the Confederate flag?
Oh, in South Carolina, Bree Newsom.
Yeah, like so that was the Capitol building, right?
That was the state capitol, correct?
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
Nikki Haley was the governor.
It wasn't the top of the building. It was a flagpole that was on the State House grounds. And she climbed it because it was supposed to come down, but the state was refusing to take it down. So she went up there and took it.
Oh.
And Nikki Haley was right.
Nikki Haley was the governor.
Okay. Boom. There's your fact checkups.
That's crazy. I know. She scaled the flagpole.
Yeah.
That's honorable.
Yeah, like it was on TV. Like they showed her climbing up there.
Yeah, Bree Newsom. And the crazy thing about it, right? That flag went up there, so South Carolina does amazing things. It's just white supremacy is just so dope. So the 100-year anniversary of the end of the Civil War, they decided to commemorate by putting the flagpoles, the Confederate flag, on the state grounds for 1 year to commemorate the 1 year anniversary of the fall of the Confederacy. Well, that 100-year time frame fell on 1965, which was 100 years after 1865. It was only supposed to stay up there for a year. But us being South Carolina, we decided to leave it up there until Bree Newsom took it down.
Wow. Oh, hello.
Yeah.
What's going on, my dog? You got my guy James, man. Hey, hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. James, you know
what I'm saying? Fuck the Florida Marlins.
Hey.
I took the over on the game, on the first 5.
Oh, you took the over. I thought you took the under.
No, I took the over.
Oh.
Okay. Hey, can you tell us what the final is, or is the game over yet?
I already won. I won it in the fourth inning. They hit a 3-run shot in the top of the 4th, so it hit the over 4.5.
We got a new degenerate gambler.
Yeah, I just bet 2 racks on Seattle. I just took Seattle Storm money line because the line opened at +1.5 and closed at -3.5. So chances are the game's going to end somewhere between 1 and 2 to make it for the bookies. So I just took them just to win.
Come on, brother.
But betting on the WNBA is nuts.
Well, they also lost game 1. That they were massive favorite in game 1 that they just played the other night, and they got fucking creamed by 30. So tonight, I think, and they also have a better power forward and center, and their point guard and Skylar Diggins is a beast. So yeah, I'll take
my girl
Skylar Diggins is a beast.
My girl Nika Newell played him, right?
I'm not sure. Newell? No, I don't think. I'm not sure. I didn't look. I just know Skylar Diggins is the point guard, and Kobe Bryant taught her a lot. So I like them to win tonight. But the $2,000 pays me $1,400 profits. So I'll take a $2,500 win for the day. Call it a day.
There you go.
Okay. All right, James. Yeah, brother. You're new to the box, man. Just go ahead and give everybody your background. First of all, start off with all of your affiliations, and then you can build from there.
He's not talking about gangs. He's not talking about gangs.
Yo.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he went 0 dark 30 on us.
That was one of my friends
calling me
for picks right there.
I guess he wanted to talk about gangs.
Yeah, you're still here. You're still here. No, you're still
No,
here?
we got you.
No, we got you now. We got you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, damn.
Nah,
I was about to ask him, you know what I'm saying? What he doing with game 1 tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
I
it's
ain't
gonna
gonna lie.
come. We gonna get to that.
All right. So, sorry. No, my friend was calling. He was trying to get some games for tonight, some baseball games. I have a lot of people that call me. They keep telling me to open like a sports cabin, but it's just too much work to do that.
Let's see. There you go again. See, yeah, bro.
You got to put on that do not disturb.
Hell yeah, you gotta put that joint on D&D, gang.
Yo, speaking of which, that was hilarious. We were doing the lunchbox the other day, and my phone was ringing, and we were on here. I answered it. It was my wife. I answered it. I said, "Bro, I'm on the hot box. How are you getting through?" And she said, "I set it up on your phone when you on do not disturb. I can get
Word,
through."
yeah, she got the focus breaker on that jump. So yeah, hopefully he can get that do not disturb under control. You know what I'm saying? So obviously he's the bookie. You feel me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because game Knicks and Pacers is tomorrow.
Yeah, the thing is if the Knicks would have won, I'm a huge Celtics fan. Obviously, I'm from New England.
My dog.
But having said that, if the Knicks would have closed it out in Game 5, I think that they have a chance. But considering the Indiana Pacers are the fastest-paced offense in the league, they're not going to be able to contend. I don't think that the Knicks can win the series because of that. I think that the Pacers are probably going to win 6-2, 4-2. I think it's going to go 6, but I think the Pacers win 4-2.
Damn.
All right, what about the other one?
Man, I had OKC, even as a Boston fan, after last season, I had OKC winning the whole thing this year.
Did you?
Me too.
They're
Me too.
Not only are they young and talented, they're going to be good for years to come. Let's just put it that way. I mean, that core, the Clippers were so stupid for getting rid of Alexander. I'll tell you what, they traded Sean Alexander. They traded Paul George for him and 3 picks. So they got Paul George in exchange for 3 first-round picks and a 4th round.
I think it was 5, wasn't it?
Yeah, and a lot of picks and Sean Alexander.
Yeah,
like that was probably one of the worst trades in history right there, outside of Luka going to the Lakers. I just thought that was dumb in the first place.
You just gonna keep calling my man Sean.
Shay.
Whatever. They call him SG something, but what is it?
SGA.
SGA.
Yo, he's sweet. He's sweet.
No, for sure.
But in that series there, the thing was, I've lost so much money on the Timberwolves this year. Let's be honest. Every time I take them, they lose or they never cover the spread, and they always do it in the first half. Like I'll take the first half when they're minus like 14. They're like 7.5 for the first half, and they'll be up 15 like the Pelicans this year. They were beating the Pelicans by like 24 with like 5 minutes to go, and somehow only lose the first half by like 7, and the line was 9.5. It's like they love shaving them fucking points at the end of halves, and then they'll come back and destroy them in the full game. Or then when I take them full game, they'll kill them in the first half. And like I just don't run good with the Timberwolves. So they're
So what other teams? What other teams do you have a relationship like that with?
I bet so much, man.
Like-
I pretty much know all the rosters for the NBA. At least the starting fives. And football.
I'm gonna need you to
Like Portland is that team.
I'm gonna need you-
Portland is the team.
I'm gonna need you to know that his name is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, though.
No, correct me now, okay? I just know the brother got skills. That brother got skills.
Sean Alexander played for the Seattle
No,
Seahawks.
but Portland is that team for me. That's the team that gets me all the time.
Yeah, but the thing is, Portland, they don't play any defense at all. So if you're ever going to bet the Portland games, you just got to take the over. You just got to take the over because they don't play defense at all. And they have so many young cats this year. Dame Lillard held that team together for quite a few years, but even he's playing trash in Milwaukee. So, me personally, and I don't have the Timberwolves. I honestly think the Timberwolves are going to lose 4-1 in that series. I don't think if they win one, they're going to only win one. I don't think they're going to win more.
I agree.
I can see that.
I don't have faith in the Timberwolves at all. I just like Anthony Edwards.
Okay, well Gobert can't shoot free throws worth the hell. Okay, he's the only big man down there, really. I mean, they have another tall man, but when Heckerson, however you pronounce his name, Harlinson and Chet, those two are fucking.
Holmgren, Chet Holmgren, yeah.
And then they have a
Hartenstein.
And yeah, they have a point guard that can move the rock, in SGA, and Dort plays hella defense. I mean, they play defense. They're well balanced. The Timberwolves are not well balanced. They think that they can just outshoot you. Problem is when they brick every other shot, and Edwards has a bad game. If Edwards has a bad game, it's a wrap. They rely.
All right, let's pause and go back for a quick second. So Boston Celtics. So does that make you a Patriot fan?
I am not. I'm actually a diehard Raiders fan.
Raiders?
Okay.
I am a diehard Raiders fan. And I'm taking over.
Do you believe in the Tuck rule?
Yeah, now Tom Brady owns half our team. What the fuck? That dude owns half our team now. Like it ain't now. It's not worse than 02 and he, the no Tuck rule. But, are you a Bills fan? Is that a Bills jersey? No, that's a Patriots jersey.
That's the Patriots. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we got the Raiders. We got the Celtics.
And I'm a Raider.
Any college sports?
No. I'm from Boston. So I'm from Maine. So but I'm all New England teams. So I'm a huge Celtics, Red Sox, and Bruins fan. But I cannot stand the Patriots. My stepfather was in the Navy, so he only grew up watching football. So obviously I grew up trying to impress him as a stepfather, and I just started watching the Raiders back when it was, Rich Gannon and Troy Brown and
shout out to Rich Gannon.
Yeah. So it's just been my squad. So I don't hop bandwagon, because if I did, I would have been a Patriots fan for a long time. But
I feel you though.
I'm happy.
So you rock with Boston College?
Yeah, I do like Boston College as a NCAA.
Okay.
But I am hoping that Pete Carroll is going to turn us around, and it's great that he got a quarterback. And I'm not saying Geno Smith's like a great quarterback, but he's mobile, and he's worked with Pete Carroll, so it would have been nice.
He's definitely better than Gardner Minshew, though.
Gardner Minshew was trash. I thought he was going to do good for us, but he was he's just too small.
You didn't want to give O'Connell another chance?
Nah, not really. It just sucks being a Raiders fan, man. Like we went out there and got Gentry, so I know Pete Carroll. He's got a running back like Marshawn Lynch, so he's got beast mode now in Gentry.
And
half games. The Raiders are going to win half games this year. I think that Pete Carroll's going to pound it on the ground, and he has a quarterback that can move, so it opens up the play action. I've taken the under on the Raiders game for the last few years, and it's just because I don't have faith in us, and we're in a hard division. We're probably in the hardest division. Between the Chiefs, the Broncos, and San Diego, like they got all four of us got great coaches. Like we probably got 4 Hall of Fame coaches, in that division. But I think that with Pete Carroll, having Geno Smith, somebody that he's kind of developed, and having a running game, similar to what Beast Mode was doing, I think we'll be okay. And with Bowers as a tight end that set the record last year, I think the Raiders are going to win more than 6.5 games for sure. I think they're going to win more than 6.5 games. And the division games, they always play them tough.
Go ahead. What was that?
They always play them tough in division games. The Chiefs can blow people out, the Broncos can, but in division games, the Raiders are always close. I mean, we could have swept the Chiefs last 2 years. I mean, we've had 21-point leads, 17-point leads, and just don't know how to close games.
No, that's a fact.
I think somebody has an echo.
It's not mine.
I think it's not.
Is that you, Cowboy Mike?
I think Mike left, didn't he?
No, he's still here. Yep.
Okay, I didn't see him on the screen anymore.
Yep. All right. Say something, James, real quick.
Yeah, I'm here. Mine's good. I can hear everybody.
Yeah, it's gone now. All right. So I got 2 questions for you, real quick. My first question was: you said that you really weren't trying to give Aiden O'Connell another chance, and I understand that. You know what I'm saying? So does that mean that you were good taking Ashton Jeanty over a quarterback, and also were you good with the 60 to 70 M's that you gave Geno Smith?
I don't know that I was good with that money, considering that we're sitting there paying all these quarterbacks all this money and throwing them away after 1 year. I think that people deserve their chance. But Aiden had 2 years where he didn't have a winning record. Even though he got hurt, he still, when he did play, he wasn't producing as much as he should have been. I think Geno Smith has earned the opportunity to be a starting quarterback somewhere. I think that with him having a coach that he has played with, in previous years, I do wish that we would have tried harder to get Metcalf or even get Lockett. Lockett was on the market for a lot longer than Metcalf was. To have a receiver that was tied to Geno Smith over the last few years and a coach, I think that another slot player to go with Bowers, I think that just opens up so much. Like when we had Renfro's a small dude, but that dude can catch. Like when you have those slot fast receivers, whether it's Wes Welkers or Renfro or you open that door. It's one of those things. But as for your other question, no, I think that Aiden had already, produced, enough for me to just have too much doubt. He had one great game where they just blew San Diego out by 62, and it could have been a lot worse that game. But I just hope that Pete Carroll, now that we have a good quarterback, a decent quarterback that, has a coach that understands him, I think we'll be okay. But it's our offensive line. And yes, Gentry, I wanted him to go. I wanted us to take him out of everybody. I didn't want Sanders. I didn't want anybody else. I wanted him to fall
I
to
was
us.
just about to ask you about him too.
I wanted him to fall to us. I didn't want a quarterback. I didn't want a receiver. I didn't want any of that. I wanted Gentry because of Pete Carroll. I think that he is Seattle was a running team under Pete Carroll. It was run before pass. So yes, I think that he was exactly what we needed. I think that we picked up a couple offensive linemen in number 38, number 39 in the draft. I'm hoping that they can produce, but it might take a few weeks for them to gel, But I think the Raiders are going to make some progress this year. I really do. I think that it opens it up.
I got one more sidebar question.
Last question. Yeah, I got one more too.
No, go ahead.
Because originally I was gonna ask you if you wanted Shedeur. So the answer to that, but
no, I don't. His dad, not with his dad.
Well, I was going to say, what do you think about? How do you think his career will go? I'll put it like that.
If his father can not try to hog his spotlight, if Deion can not try to hog his spotlight, I think he could have a bright future. He might need to, he likes to run the ball before he throws the ball. And as a quarterback, you've got to learn that you have to be able to release the ball. Your running should be your second option. It should not be your first option as a quarterback. If you want that to be your first option, you need to just be a running back. As a quarterback, you need to think throw before you think run. But I think his dad is hogging the spotlight, kind of like Halliburton for the Pacers. His dad now cannot attend any games. His dad is hogging his son's spotlight. You don't want to do that. Let your kids shine. Sure. And that's why he fell in the draft. He would, if his dad wasn't coaching him to not show up to combines and whatnot, I think that he would have won it in the first round, like he should have. He absolutely was a good enough player to go in the first round, whether it was first, second, third, or fourth. But he should never have fell to 130 something in the draft. He just shouldn't have. And there's someone suing millions of dollars for heartache over that. I don't think that person should win the case either. But I also think that,
right.
His dad had a lot to do with him dropping in the draft, 100%. And that's not fair to his kid.
I agree.
So y'all said Shedeur runs too much?
I think that he thinks run before he passes. He does throw the ball. Don't get it twisted. But he doesn't think, throw before. Like, his head's down. He's on the move, out of the pocket before he needs to be as well. I watched a lot of Colorado games.
So you're not saying
I think part of that is how bad. No, he's not a scrambler at all. But I think the part that's missing from that is how bad the offensive line was.
The offensive line was terrible.
I was going to say that. The offensive line was disgustingly bad. So,
yeah, but look how many offensive weapons he had, and how good. He had a lot of opportunities to throw the ball. I mean, I don't know how many times I got frustrated that I bet them in a game, and he would just have a tight end or a receiver so open, and he just didn't even look in that direction. Like, I understand you got about 3 or 4 seconds to look left or right before you throw the rock, but he just thought run. Like, I don't think he got scared. I just think that under pressure, he just makes his first instinct, which is just run the ball, and he needs to really throw that ball.
I thought he was gun shy a little bit, to add to your point, because the O-line was so bad.
Yeah, the offensive line, and that's what I'm worried about with Gentry. I think that Pete Carroll's going to have to adjust that offensive line to fit because Gentry, Jacobs was a great quarterback. I wish we didn't get rid of him. He wanted more money. He deserved it. You look at him shine when he went to Green Bay. He shined. He got his yards. And if the Raiders could just hold the line, Tom Brady wouldn't have been this good either. Tom Brady was great, but he wouldn't have been this great if they didn't have Bill Belichick didn't have that offensive line. Like, when you have a line like that, look at Saquon Barkley. He did great in New York, right? He goes to Philadelphia, and he could have set the record probably in Week 15 if he wanted to, because that Eagles offensive line is so good. It all starts with the offensive line. And Gentry, I think that he's going to have a great year, but it could be a lot better if we could fix the offensive line. And, the passing game has to work too, because if you're one-dimensional, you're screwed. Let's be honest. If you're one-dimensional, you're not going to win. You have to be able to run the ball and throw the ball.
Do you think that Ashton Jeanty will be able to replicate the production that Josh Jacobs came in and gave y'all initially straight out of Alabama?
I do. I think his expectations are so high. I think he does get 1,000 yards rushing this year, and maybe not because he's just that good, but also because our team is not like the greatest. So I think that they're going to rely a lot on him, and that he might end up getting hurt because they're going to rely on him as a workhorse so much that something's going to happen. You cannot do that, you know.
Well,
But
y'all think gives Zamir White enough carries to avoid that?
I mean, Pete Carroll likes to work his horse, so you know you saw what he did with Marshawn Lynch. Yeah, so you saw what he did with Lynch, and you know it was working until it doesn't. You know, until you decide to throw the ball on the 1 yard line, but in a Super Bowl. But you know, I think that Gentry's going to have a great year if we can open up the offensive line. I promise you, Gentry's going to get 1,000 yards this year as long as the offensive line can adapt and the offense can throw the ball just a little. If the offense can't throw the ball, they're just going to send a blitz. They're not even going to be in cover 2 or cover 3. They're just going to send a blitz. They're going to send 5 men every single time until you can prove to him that Geno Smith can make a good throw, an accurate throw, and an on-time throw, or they're just going to keep running. Look at Barkley in the Super Bowl. I won $97,000 on a parlay. I took Barkley not to get a touchdown because anything about Andy Reid, what you need to know about him is he's going to shut down your best weapon, and it happened to be Barkley. I knew he was not going to let Barkley score that game. I took Brown to get a touchdown. I took Hurts to get a touchdown. I took Rice to get a touchdown. I took the over, and I took the Eagles money line. Fucking almost 97 racks. So I lost it all, but that's the point. The point is I hit it. So,
well, seeing that you're a gambling man, I have to ask you a question. And shout out to my dog Cowboy Mike. Last season, there was a game in Arrowhead against the Raiders. The very last play of the game, there was an illegal formation or an illegal shift. When the Raiders fumbled the fucking snap, gang. What can you replay from your perspective? What happened in that?
I mean, honestly, it really just comes down to the Raiders trying to get a better draft pick. Their season was already over. No, I'm being serious when I say this. There's no excuse to fumble the ball on an illegal shift in field goal range, and they had done it the game before too. They didn't fumble the ball, but they have given the game away. Listen, it's not funny. They gave the game away before. The Raiders find ways to lose, okay? I remember last year, my biggest game that I lost last year was Chicago against Washington. I had bet $300,000. I'm not joking with you. I bet $300,000 on that game. I took the Bears. They put a fucking center. Listen to this shit.
So you were the one who made the phone call. They made the phone call because of you. And Cowboy Mike
was his shit. Listen to this shit. They fucking put a fucking fullback, or not a fullback, a linebacker in there to fucking run the ball in at the 1 yard line. He fumbles the fucking ball, and I'm cussing in the bar in front of a bunch of Washington fans. Then they get the ball back and score, and they're offering me over $500 right now to take the fucking buyout. I said, fuck no, they need a Hail Mary. Chicago don't even fucking play defense in the end zone. They let a guy stand wide open back there, and you tip it to him. You tip it to the only direction the motherfucker is. I ain't never thrown a glass in a bar before or kicked out for something like that, but they kicked me out. I went off, and I almost got in a fight with a bunch of Washington people, and I can't even fight. I can't even fight, and I wanted to fight that day.
What do we have here now? Do you
Hey,
want
James,
to ride?
Vegas made that call, dog.
I respect your honesty.
Yeah, but I couldn't have been the only one to bet that game, though.
Never tell people you can't fight, bro.
But listen, but $300,000 it's not enough for them. I mean, it is a lot, but there's other people that make big wagers, to weigh that out, like all the people that bet those games. But I lost, and then I went on tilt. Like the following week, I fucking went ham. This is when I had the one I was telling you earlier. I bet I had 1.2 at this one. I've been a millionaire twice, but this one I had betted all the rest of it. After I lost that one, I do it all on the Raiders money line against Carolina. They got their ass walloped. I was fucking fuming. How the fuck you lose $800,000 in fucking one game on a blowout to the worst team in the fucking league with Ginger Snap at the fucking helm? And then he gets hurt next game.
Ginger Snap, dog. Hey, wait, hold on. Wait, you talking about Andy Dalton?
Yeah, Ginger Snap.
Oh, okay.
That motherfucker comes in there and looks like he's a Super Bowl quarterback, and then next week he throws like 5 interceptions and gets hurt. Get the fuck out of here. They fucked me that game.
So I have to ask now that everybody's here, man. What is your stance since y'all are division mates? What is your stance on Justin Herbert?
Okay, so I think he's an amazing quarterback. I think that he's a great quarterback. He has awareness. I think that what they needed was a coach that could come in and push him to his best.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what they got in Harbaugh. I think when Harbaugh came in, you saw the turnaround. Look forward to what Harbaugh did last year from the year before when San Diego was getting blown out every game. I think Harbaugh came in there and made him a better quarterback, and that's what you got to do. I mean, Bo Nix with Sean Payton. Look what Sean Payton's done to him, and playing his first year. And I'm telling you, that division is tough, man. It's tough, and it's
I agree.
going to be tough for a long time. And I think the Raiders are now going to be able to contend, getting a running back, getting a couple offensive. Probably going to finish pretty close to the last in the division. But I also think that they're going to win more than 6.5 games this year. Now, I'll even shoot for the Raiders winning 9 games this year. I'd be happy with that. I mean, it's a rebuilding process. It seems like we've been doing that for 20 years. I mean, we are always a rebuilding since Rich Gannon, But we made But I would have been happy. I would have been nice to see Carr retired, but it would have been nice to see Carr come back and just retire in a jersey as a Raider. I would have been nice to see him do that. It's just unfortunate he retired just, from his shoulder so quickly as a Saint. It would have been nice for him to come back and retire with us. I know the Raiders. Me personally, I didn't like some of his decisions as a quarterback, but that man stuck with us for 8-9 years. Had the most passing yards in our organization. I feel that he deserved a little more respect than he got when he got sent away. But it would have been nice for him to come back and close out in our jersey.
Is he a top 10 Raider?
He is. He's more than a top 10 Raider. As an offensive quarterback. Okay, maybe not as an overall player. I don't know, but because I got Rich Gannon way at the top, I got Troy Brown all the way at the top. Jerry Rice, obviously, I got way up there, higher than him. Bill Romanowski, that motherfucker was a beast, by the way.
Jerry Rice is a top Raider. Is he tenured enough to be a top Raider?
Who?
Jerry Rice.
I mean, he went to a Super Bowl, didn't he?
Rice.
Hey, he went to a Super Bowl. I ain't seen him my whole life.
I ain't heard no damn Tim Brown.
He said Tim Brown.
Yeah, he said Tim Brown.
I definitely said Brown.
Okay.
Hey, Jerry Rice is high on the Seattle Seahawk list.
Jerry Rice is high on the fucking 49er list. What are you talking about?
Jerry Rice is high on the Denver Broncos list. He only played on the practice squad.
Hey, no, real shit though. So, do you think that this is the year that Kansas City has a not spectacular regular season?
They didn't have one in the last year. The Kansas City Chiefs won 7 games at the end by the skin of their teeth by other teams making mistakes, like the Raiders fumbling the ball. They won 4 or 5 games in a row off some dumb stuff. The Eagles, when they played.
Go ahead.
Now, when the Eagles played them in the Super Bowl, the Eagles left no doubts for the refs. I promise you, they left no doubt. Even when they were up 30, they fucking threw a bomb to Smith. I mean, they left no doubt. The refs are not getting the Chiefs back. I don't care what you say. I mean, they already called one of the first plays of the game. Brown got a touchdown in the end zone, and they called it back. So it's you just got to beat the shit out of them early and let it hold. Because the refs ain't going to let them come back. And no, I don't think the Chiefs aren't even going to win the division this year. I do not think the Chiefs win the division this year. I honestly think the Broncos are going to win first, take first in our division this year. I think the Chiefs will probably be a close second. Chargers, unfortunately, I have to say that the Raiders are probably not going to finish in the top 3. But luckily for us, all 4 can make the playoffs. I do think, I haven't said this in years, but I do think Dallas, with picking up Pickens, is going to have a hell of a run. CeeDee Lamb has another receiver on the other side that Brandon Cooks was all right. They had a couple decent weapons, but I will tell you this: I think that with picking up Pickens, if he could stay out of trouble and stop doing some Brown crap, Antonio Brown type. He's on the verge of being like Antonio Brown. There's something wrong with that dude, mentally and physically.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I think that Dallas is gonna have a collapse if CD and George Pickens get into a little, throw me the ball match. Because
that's what I'm thinking.
George Pickens, he's a crash out. That's his problem.
That's what I'm saying. If he has anything like Antonio Brown,
by wide receivers on the same team in NFL history, mid game.
I think Lamb wants his touches, but Dak's got to be able to get him the ball. So, I'm not a Dallas fan at all by any means, period. But I think that if Pickens and Lamb can get along, I'm taking the over on every game that those play because they're both going to want the rock.
That's what I said.
So Dak's going to have to throw that ball to both of them to make them happy. That running game is not going to be in Dallas, okay? It's going to be pretty much just throw the rock. And Dak wants to throw the ball too, so I think it opens the door.
Hey, that is one thing. I will say Dak is probably going to finish this year with about 4,800 yards.
Yep.
I'm thinking the total opposite. As a Dallas Cowboy fan, we always
going to crash out.
No, I don't think that. I'm just saying I feel like that. I think Pickens is a crash out. I think that our offensive line has gotten better too, though. So we're going to run the ball this year, sure.
I don't think Tyler as much as you think, though.
Start for y'all this year.
Yes.
I don't think Dallas is going to run this ball as much as you think this year.
Javonte Williams going to start?
Yes, Javonte Williams will be starting.
Where'd you get him from Denver? He came from Denver?
Yeah, then we can have Blue.
Yeah.
Blue will probably be a secondary back.
I can see them maybe throwing to him in the flat, but I think that Dak's going to throw 5,000 yards this year, at least 4,000. He's definitely because CeeDee Lamb and Pickens are going to want their touches, or there's going to be confrontation. And since they're paying both of them all that money, they both got a really big contract. Dak's going to have to throw that ball. And McCarthy, if anybody can choke, it's McCarthy. Okay, Mike McCarthy is a choke artist. However, I think he's going to allow them to throw that rock. He's going to let Dak throw that ball this year. He's going to sling that shit. I'm telling you. I'm taking over on every Dallas game, and you're probably going to hit, I would say, at least 75% of them. I'm telling you, you got to take the over on those games. Even if Dallas loses and doesn't play defense, I guess if Parsons is healthy, Parsons is also one of those ones like Pickens. It doesn't take much for him to explode. He's got some anger issues, too.
Tell me I'm not going crazy about Carolina Panthers.
Hey, I don't even want to talk about them, okay? That was the rough game. That was the worst game of my life. I don't know how I lost that fucking game. How the fuck do I lose to the Panthers by like 30? It was fucking, and I knew it too. When the Raiders were only minus 5 points that game, I took a money line. I said, "There's no like if the Raiders were favored 13 or 14, I would feel better than them being minus 5."
All right. Last question. Oh, Red's gone.
Mine doesn't make sense. There's a reason.
I'll hold off. I ask a 49er question, but I'll hold off.
Red is fucking hilarious, dog.
I got to get back to this game, bro.
All right, hold on. Hey, Cubs.
All right, bro. James, I got to get back to this. We still got you here, James? You still hear me?
Yes, yeah. I was just looking at the Seattle Storm score. Sorry.
No,
I was looking at the Seattle Storm score.
No, my question was, so back to this Raiders Chiefs game, right? So y'all were driving, and I'm sorry but it's you was like y'all gave up the game, but my whole thing was if there was an illegal shift,
the play should have been dead, moved back 5 yards.
If there was an illegal shift, the play would have been blown dead regardless.
Correct.
So the fumble wouldn't have even mattered. Like once the whistle would have came in, and then they changed it to a false start. Like when the refs got together, they came and they changed the call, bro. And I just thought that shit was funky.
Okay, well, all right. So if there's a turnover and a possession, if there's a penalty, just decline it. If there was no turnover, then obviously the penalty would neglect the play, and they would just replay the down with the yardage penalty. However, if there's a turnover, which there was, then you just decline it, regardless if there was a false start or an interception or whatever the case may be for the turnover or fumble. It's still a turnover. They just give it to the other team. So that the call was correct. If you fumbled on a false start, then it's still a turnover. So the Chiefs still get the ball. They
called it an illegal formation though. So that's like if
a turnover negates it.
The play is dead though. So it's like if they
not on a turnover.
Dead though.
Not on a turnover. Not on a turnover. If there's a turnover in possession, that's not going to matter. However, saying that, look back when Cincinnati played the Raiders in the playoffs. The only time we made the playoffs, I feel like, since 2002. And they called a bad play and they called it. I forgot what it was. It was something on. They blew the whistle, just like what you said. They blew the whistle before the play, and they gave Cincinnati the touchdown. Do you remember that at the end of the game? It cost the Raiders the playoff game. Cincinnati went on to the Super Bowl, but when the Raiders
Oh,
played
you talking about this was
Cincinnati,
recently?
yeah, this was a couple of years ago when Cincinnati played the Raiders. When Cincinnati ended up going to the Super Bowl that year, the Raiders, the whistle was blown before the play was done, and so they let the play stand as a touchdown for Cincinnati. Clearly, the whistle was blown, and they didn't overturn it. It cost the Raiders the game.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about though, because it's like, bro, if you blew the whistle and you come out and say illegal formation, it's like y'all can't come together and then change it around so that it could result in a play that could have a possibility to be declined. Because in a legal formation, you're gonna blow the whistle so that the play is completely dead because you're gonna have to just lay the infraction down. You gotta lay it because it's a pre-snap penalty.
Yeah, if what you're saying is correct, then the play should have been dead. Like if they're saying it was a legal formation, that is one penalty that should not be a turnover on downs. I mean, a turnover, period.
Sure.
I don't understand their play calling on the section, but the Chiefs got away with a lot of calls last year. I mean, the Chiefs should, let's be honest, if you go back and look at about 5 or 6 of those games, the Chiefs wouldn't even have had a winning record. They won a lot of those games on mistakes by other teams.
They should have lost that Panthers jump. If anything, they should have lost the Raiders jump. They should have lost that Panthers jump.
There's 2 other games they should have lost as well that they ended up winning. And you remember that kick? You remember that kick with the Texans? You know, but as we're talking about like the round picks, right? You know, we're talking about like how teams lose on purpose. Do you remember about 5 or 6 years ago, the Texans had a really bad record and they needed to lose the game and they were on like the 3-yard line and they went to kick the field goal and the guy kicks it like 15 yards all the way to the left. Like you could tell he did that shit on purpose. That shit was hilarious. I mean, they said if he makes it, they're going to lose the first round pick. This guy comes up there, Fairbank comes up there, and he fucking kicks that shit 15 yards from the 2-yard line all to the corner of the end zone. It wasn't even remote. That shit was hilarious. But yeah, people do that stuff all the time. Like that's why when you get towards the end of the season, it's like take a preseason. If I could ever give advice during preseason, always take the worst teams. Take the worst teams to win. Because they're always going to win in preseason. Because they're the ones that are trying to figure out their identity. You know, the teams that are already really good, they already know who they're starting. So when I bet preseason, I make bank because I take those teams that aren't supposed to win in a regular season against the teams they're playing. It's the same thing at the end of the year. It's tough at the end of the year to take the favorites because they bench all their starters. You know, when they've already clinched their divisions and there are certain spots. Or even if they didn't clinch, they clinched the playoffs, but they can't get the first round pick. They're trying to lose a certain game so they can play a certain team. Like there's so many factors that go into at the end of the year, which makes it so tough, you know, to predict how the end of the season is going to go because some teams want to play certain teams for better matchups. So, you know, if they can't clinch a first round bye, that's what they're trying to do. But
go ahead.
No. You can ask me one more question. I got to get ready to go because my phone's getting ready to die. And I got to go watch the Seattle game. I need to hit that one tonight because I got some locks tomorrow, baby.
Since you're a numbers guy and I got my dog Cowboy Mike here, man. The Dallas Cowboys are projected 7.5, man. What's your line?
Over. 150% the over on that. You mean of winning games?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely. They're going to win 10 games this year. No doubt. Dallas is going to win 10 games this year. And I hate Dallas. But because I hate all the Dallas fans say this is our season. You know, we're going to the Super Bowl after they win a preseason game. I don't know if Iron Mike's like that, but you know, it felt good last year. It felt good last year to not have to hear about that after 5 games. It was more of like you're going to the Bourbon Bowl, baby.
Yeah, I try to be objective as possible. Like they'll tell you, I'm not one of them Cowboy fans. Like
no, you're not. Yeah,
all
right,
they are very delusional.
Right,
they are insane.
Seriously. Yeah, we'll be all right
then. We'll be tomorrow night, man. Same time, dog. Same time, same place.
All right, guys. You have a good night. All right. Talk to you tomorrow.
Be blessed, bro.
All right, bye.
So, Cowboy Mike, we just witnessed a MVP showdown in Game 7 in the Western Conference. One MVP came to play. One MVP obviously did not come to play. One that you talk about a lot. And I just want to give you your credit because honestly, I didn't know Alex Caruso was one of the best players in the league. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know he was. You know what I'm saying? But I guess Alex Caruso might be a top 5 big in the league. You know what I'm saying?
Who knew?
You know what I'm saying?
Caruso played his ass off though, man. But that whole OKC team, they just was hungrier. Like their defense was suffocating. Jamal Murray was just like all over the place. I'm trying to figure out, was Aaron Gordon hurt or was he not hurt?
Yeah,
I'm confused. Was he hurt? I mean, I thought the injury was significant. You know, I thought Peyton Watson would have got more minutes. You know, Russ just looked, man. I think we all cheering for Russ, but again, Russ just don't make smart decisions with the basketball. He's talented. He can score. He can assist. There's too many turnovers, bro. Like, you know, it's like it be shit like, bro, why would you shoot that shot? Like, you're not that good of a shooter. You start out over 2 and you just keep shooting that shit. Like, bro, go to the hole.
You just keep it.
You know, so I mean, that whole Denver team, you know, I just think they were undermatched. Chet, you know, he played well. Hartenstein, they just then Carson, Wallace, they just played well, man. They were just a better team, I think. Jokic is out there by himself for the most part, so I'm not gonna violate him. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I think Tupac said it before. Like he was the most frustrated I've seen him all like since he's been an NBA player. Like he was frustrated, like really mad. Like he's not getting this type of calls. You know, he was used to getting. I mean, okay, see, they earned it. I wanted to see what they gonna earn it, and they really did as a team. Not really, you know, Shea. I like Shea, but I'm not hesitant, you know, to put him in that same upper echelon. But I just think he gets a lot of calls, and I think he's like Paul George before he got hurt, or like that Tracy McGrady. Like he really can go off. You know what I'm saying? But he about 8 to 10 buckets in a row. You know what I'm saying? If he really, you know, but
himself, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you know, but other than that, you know, I don't see them doing nothing if they get down. You know, they got to stay up. They like front runners to me.
So, you know, Joker was. Did you think that he was really smothered, or do you? Because I mean, he was only 5 for 9. I think he only had. I think he had less than 10 attempts.
Yeah, but I don't think. I think that again, too many guys shot the ball. Jamal Murray, this was kept shooting the ball. Like, bro, like they were going like 4 or 5 possessions without Jokic touching the ball at all. This is not smart basketball. Like, what are y'all doing, bro? And again, we all, you know, was ragging on Michael Porter. I just think, I don't know. I've never been a Michael Porter guy. I know when the Bulls was someone trying to draft him, I'm like, hell no, all them injuries and shit. But him as a player, he's just like, if he's not hitting 7 threes, he does not give you anything. He's like Tobias Harris to me. Like,
for sure.
You can't trust him at all. You cannot trust him in any capacity to do anything for a game. Like, he'll show up out of nowhere like, oh, shit, you know. But other than that, he's not consistent enough, you know. So
I agree.
Yeah, I think they're going to probably move him in the offseason. I think everybody's kind of said that at this point. So, what's in the best?
Do you think that Denver is a team that's looking to retool around Joker or look for maybe a possible out the way that maybe Milwaukee might be looking for a possible out with their superstar?
That's a tough one. I mean, again, new coaching staff. It just depends, man. I'm not trading Joker in my prime. I'm not going to be the GM or owner to say, yeah, we traded Jokic in his prime. That shit is insane. I mean, what are you going to really get back for him? You know, it's like, to me, a lot of these teams have made it known like this are our guys. They're not budging, so you're gonna end up trading and getting a Luka package back. You know what I'm saying? 2 loaves of bread and some bologna. Like, that shit ain't nothing.
For sure.
You create your whole, you go trade, you know, then they're really gonna be shit. So just be lucky you even drafted that man. I'm gonna retool around him. I'm gonna move Jamal Murray for sure. I'm gonna move Russ. I like the other guys they have around. They didn't play the young guys. Their young guys can play. I like Christian Brown. I don't know why, you know, he gets a bad rap. I just don't think, again, when they started him, he's played his best ball. But bring him off the bench, you put him in Russ certain time, it's like he can't really be effective and really show his skill set. He's a really good player, even with at Kansas. I thought he was a good player. And he hustled. On a fast break, he's solid. He's a decent shooter. You know, I think he can be in that Caruso role at a certain point. You know, but you know, they got to retool though. I don't know, you know, how can they do maybe through the draft? They got hit on their draft picks. You know, get some mid-level guys that people not really paying attention to. Try to get maybe Anthony Simon, you know, Simons or something like that, like maybe a third-tier star. Or D'Lo, you know what I'm saying, for the Nets. Somebody you know they can produce. Somebody you know that can at least play basketball. You know, because Jokic, all Jokic need, he don't need a lot. You know, you gotta replace DeAndre Hunter too, bro. Like, can't have your backup center as DeAndre. I mean, DeAndre Jordan. My bad.
Dog, that shit is embarrassing, brother.
That is insane, though. That nigga got no wheels. Yeah, cuz he's good. He's done. He's already in retirement.
Speaking of being done, man, do you think that the Cavaliers are going to be able to run it back with the core that they have?
That's a good question. I think they can. I talked about this last time. I think we have to just they got to retool their team. I think Garland's the odd man out. I would start Hunter this year to shake things up. Like, I think they got to get stronger. They got to get more athletic. But I mean, I'm gonna force, Mitchell and whoever's in the backcourt with him to get Mobley the ball, bro. Like, he's in that Chris Bosh to me in that vein. Like, you get him the basketball more, he's more effective. His defense picks up when he gets the ball. You can't just throw a man a lob all game. Like, that's just stupid. Get up some touches down bottom. Now, Jared Allen, he don't really need that many touches. He's the guy to get the rebound and go right back up with it, or the lob guy. I think Mobley has the total package to really be a 3-point shooter to mid-range level shooter, and with the inside game.
For sure.
So I'm gonna feature him. I'm gonna put the offense in his hands and have Mitchell take less shots so he can be more effective later on in the game. Because Mitchell is a beast, but he wears out too quickly. He takes bad shots. So you want him to kind of bring it back a little bit, so he'd be more effective in the fourth quarter. Where we've seen players like D Wade just kind of he fits in that D Wade model. A little smaller than D Wade, but I think that D Wade would take less shots to try to third, fourth quarter, ramp it up, get to the free throw line.
Yeah,
that's what Mitchell's at his best. You know what I'm saying? So that's for me, Mr. Bitches.
How y'all doing?
What up, brother?
Then the man of motion.
The man of motion. You dig me?
What's going on?
Oh, the man.
Oh yeah, you just missed my missed my dog. We gotta call bro Crazy James for sure. And say no James or something.
You said what it called?
Huh?
Crazy James.
Either Crazy James or Insano James or something. Hell yeah.
Insano James.
Insano James. Hell yeah.
What happened?
Casino James.
It went well.
Casino James.
Casino James. Casino James. There you go.
Casino
yeah,
James.
Casino James.
Hell yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Oh,
yeah. He was definitely tapped in his joint. He was in there with us for probably like 20-30 minutes, man. He was definitely cool as hell though, for sure.
Yeah. Y'all know Cuz? Or he just like
Man, I met him yesterday. He was my Uber driver. Yesterday.
Okay, word up. Okay.
Yeah, so and he was talking to me about sports, and I was telling him, I'm like, yo, I don't know too much, but like, yo, like you definitely be talking about sports like my boys be talking about. So I locked him in with Ralph, you know what I'm saying, to bring him on. You know what I'm saying? Dude was super cool. Yeah, he was super cool.
He definitely could be a contributor for sure.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he got it.
Well, that's what I told him. I'm like, bro.
But he got to know that Mike McCarthy does not coach the Cowboys anymore.
Yeah, I was going to tell him it was Brian Schottenheimer. You know what I'm saying?
He got to know McCarthy got fired.
Hey, it's all good, though. You know what I'm saying, bro? Dude, he knew something he was talking about. He said the Cowboys were going to win 10 games. My nigga Cowboy Mike was like, well, shit, nigga.
I'm with it. I'm with it. We on the same page.
He said, hey, America's team. Ever since Mike hit that parlay, that's America's team.
Yeah, real talk. It's probably we was talking about the Raiders too. He'll be a Raider fan. I'm like, okay, he gave a great breakdown. I think he's right. If they run the ball and let Geno make some plays out the passing game, they're gonna be all right.
Yeah, bro. So I definitely feel like.
I mean, you got Bowers and the Jacoby Myers. I feel like you got enough right there to dodo niggas to football.
Hell yeah, man. And shout out to the Raiders, man. Shout out to the AFC West, bro. They definitely gonna be tough this year. They're gonna be tough.
Yeah, that could be definitely tough. Sure.
And it's
must see TV. I'm high on the Broncos. I'm letting y'all know I'm high on the Broncos.
It's both time for sure.
I think that defense is gonna ramp it up, and I think again they're not done enough. I think they're gonna sign another receiver. I really do. I hope it's Keenan Allen.
Come on.
That would be so tough.
All Bo needs.
What do they have going on in the NFL right now? They in training, right?
Yeah, rookie minicamp.
Yeah, rookie minicamp.
Shador just signed this deal.
Okay.
Shout out 4.6 M. Shout out Shador Sanders.
Okay, so that ain't
nothing really going on.
Y'all think they're gonna start him? Don't they got like 5 quarterbacks on their team? I mean,
yeah.
How do they play them all? Like, how does that go?
Somebody getting cut or practice squad.
Yeah, we're gonna find out in training camp OTAs. Yeah.
He got a real chance to start. I mean, it depends on what direction. they want to go.
Hopefully Shador do it.
Yeah, me too. I think he got a real opportunity to start because again, do you really want to start Joe Flacco?
Because Shador, he gonna sell tickets for them.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I'm gonna start Flacco. I'm like, we've seen Flacco before. We know what he can bring to the table. He'll be a good backup. If it's me, I'm starting Shador. I'm gonna cut what's his name?
Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, Gabriel. I'm gonna cut him.
Can he pick it?
I might keep. I might trade him. I might trade him, or I might trade Deshaun Watson.
What's going on?
That's just me. I'm not gonna have a controversy in my camp. I'm gonna make sure we know who the starter is. I think it's Shador. I mean, I've been high on Shador since day one, so I'm not wavering.
But I just still don't understand. Well, I mean, it's not like Dylan Gabriel was like
He's not better than him.
I'm just saying though. I just still don't understand what was the point of them taking, because they already had Pickett, they already had Flacco, they already had Watson. Yeah. And I know, Watson might have been the odd man out, but it's like you still take two more quarterbacks. How are you going to evaluate all five of these guys unless you already know or kind of got an idea who? But it's like, why would you bring?
Yeah, why would you bring Pickett? I don't know. That's kind of strange. I'm not going to draft.
Maybe you think you could trade him. Maybe you think you can trade somebody for a pick or something.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I thought I would have went receiver more. I'm going receiver. I'd have been receiver heavy. And you still haven't signed. Nick Chubb is still out there. It's like, will he resign?
Well, no, they drafted a running back.
Okay, got you.
Remember they drafted Quinshon Judkins from Ohio State.
Right.
Yeah.
He probably gonna start.
And they still got Jerome Ford, I believe.
You're number two.
Yeah.
I don't look at him as number one. You're number two.
No, I agree.
For sure. But I mean, they got depth.
Don't y'all play the Eagles game one?
Beat the fuck out the Eagles week one.
Don't Dallas and the Eagles
beat the fuck out the Eagles week one.
Yeah.
The fuck out of them.
And so
out of them. You dig?
Since we got the guys here, y'all know I got a list. I got my historians. In the history of the NFL, in the words of Cowboy Mike, you dig.
Jerry Rice.
There have been 5 teams. There have been 5 teams that had at least 3 players with 1,000 receiving yards.
49ers. Steelers.
What was the question?
No. In the history of the NFL, there are 5 teams that have had at least 3 players with at least 1,000 receiving yards.
Minnesota. What?
No.
The 1991 Buffalo Bills.
The Rams.
Giants.
Some Dolphin team with Dan Marino.
Definitely.
It was not a team with Dan Marino.
All right, the Eagles.
It was 1996 Green Bay Packers.
No.
Damn.
Who did you say, Drew?
Giants.
No.
He's in the history of the NFL. I'm just, Nah, he said not the Steelers.
Not the Steelers?
Okay,
what about
okay.
With Doug Baldwin, Lockett.
What about the motherfucking Dallas Cowboys?
Nope.
What about the Washington Redskins?
Cleveland Browns?
Not the Commanders, but the Redskins.
The 1989 Washington
Gary
Redskins
Clark, Ricky Sanders, and Art Monk.
Damn.
Yep. Gary Clark had 1,200 yards, 9 tubs. Ricky Sanders, 1,100 yards,
I need
4
a Ricky
tubs.
Sanders jersey.
Art Monk, 1,100 yards, 8 tubs.
All right, let's
I feel
go.
like I said
Who was y'all quarterback
Rippon?
that year? Was that Rippy?
I don't think it was Rippon. It might have been Doug Williams.
that's a different era. That was a different era, Watson. That's when they
That
was
was the
like
year.
on top.
Yes, they beat the shit out of Elway now.
Yeah, that was the year they beat Elway in the Super Bowl, I believe, or
They
even
told
or
him-
even a year after.
Oh, what about the 49ers?
No, he said no.
No?
All right,
No
hey
49ers team.
Cups. Hey Cups, tell me that Lethal's book.
Oh my
Yeah, it
God.
was Mark
Oh,
Rippon.
was
No,
it?
let me.
Mark Rippon, Stan Humphries, and Doug Williams was the quarterbacks on the roster that year.
So let me think that it was Lethal's
Oh,
boy
man,
Phillip Rivers.
It was not Phillip Rivers, but it was
Drew Brees?
Stan Humphries?
the team.
It wasn't Drew Brees, was it?
Dan Fouts?
Nope.
Hold on, who the fuck? It was Herbert?
Dan Fouts.
Oh yeah.
The 1980 San Diego Chargers,
Okay.
Kellen Winslow, 1,200 yards,
Okay.
9 tubs. John Jefferson, 1,300 yards,
Some
13
kind of
tubs.
stuff wasn't shit today, goddammit. Damn, okay.
Give me
Charlie Joyner, 1,100 yards and 4
give me
tubs.
the Houston Oilers.
No.
All right, let's see what we got here. Let me think about this for a second.
What about the Texans?
Oh, what about the Cardinals?
The 2008 Arizona Cardinals with Larry Fitzgerald, Anquan Bolden, and shout out to Steve Breston,
From
1,000 yards,
Michigan.
3 touchdowns.
Yeah. All right, let's see what else.
You know what I'm saying?
Is Tom Brady on there?
Tom Brady is not
Wow,
on this
Drew
list.
Brees.
Drew Brees is not on this
That's
list.
nuts. Is there?
Y'all not gonna get this.
Yeah, you acting a fool, nigga. I'm like,
All right, hold on, time out.
This is a good one.
All right, 15, right?
Let me get the Jets with Keyshawn Johnson. Damn. Thought for sure that was it.
How
What about the Cincinnati Bengals with Chris Henry, Ocho, and TJ?
No, that was close though.
Was it the Bengals this year?
May have been.
Not
What
3.
about Bengals with T.O. and Chad? Damn.
No.
And they went from over 100. 4,000, excuse me.
It wasn't Flacco. It's got to be Peyton Manning, right?
The
Sheriff.
Yeah, with Marvin Harrison,
2004.
Reggie
Marvin
Wayne,
Harrison,
Dallas Clark.
1,115. Reggie Wayne and Brandon Stokely,
Brandon
1,000
Stokely,
yards.
okay.
Oakley.
What about Aiden and the Broncos? Eric Decker. What is it?
Demarius Thomas.
Demarius Thomas and the tight end. What's his name? Shit.
Julian
Julius
Thomas.
Thomas,
Did them niggas
yes.
have 300? I don't think they had. I think all of them had double-digit touchdowns. I don't think
Well, I
Julian
know that
Thomas
was the year he
had
broke the
1,000
record.
yards, though.
Yeah, they went ape shit on us too.
So we still need one more then. Okay.
Yeah, one more team.
Well, no, we got to think, Mike, because he said that we weren't going to get it. So we got to really think.
I'm trying.
All right, let me think about this for a
Yeah, we
second.
came with some bullshit today. He got us today. That was nice. Let me think.
The quarterback of this team, the year is 1995.
Okay.
95.
The quarterback of this football team is Jeff George.
The Falcons? Tony Gonzalez, Andre Rison?
Eric Metcalf, Terrence Mathis, and Burt Emanuel.
Wow.
That was good.
Wow.
That's some good shit, dog. That was good.
Wow.
Eric Metcalf with
Metcalf
1,000
was fast
receiving
in
yards,
this.
8 touchdowns.
Yeah, he was.
That's one of my dad favorite players. He always talking about Eric Metcalf. Always to this day. He ain't faster than Eric Metcalf. I'm like, man.
That's so crazy because I'd be randomly bringing up Bertie Manuel for no reason at all.
Bertie Manuel, yeah.
Nice
Nice though.
You were asking about these quarterbacks. Well, we were to expand it a little bit where we have trios of at least 900 yards. There are 3, 6, 9, 12 teams.
All right. Jim
History
Kelly
where-
definitely on that one.
He is
1992.
not.
Oh no, not on there. Marino with Martin Clayton and Duper.
Whoa.
He is not.
Drew Brees,
I'm about to say, give me that Minnesota team with Randy.
Chris Carter.
We have Jimmy Graham, Marcus Colston, and Lance
Wow.
Moore. Marcus Colston had 1,100 yards. Lance Moore had 1,000, and Jimmy Graham had 982.
What about that Jake Reed, Chris Carter, and Randy? Minnesota, Randall Cunningham.
Randall Cunningham, yeah.
There is a Minnesota team.
Is
but it's
Dante
not that one.
Culpepper?
Might be. He went crazy too.
And it's not
Really?
that
Yeah.
one.
Kirk Cousins?
It's
Sam
not that
Darnold last
one.
year.
Or it
Okay,
might have
I'm
been
about
Kirk
to say, I'm
Cousins.
like,
the year that
Addison, I'm like, how can I on that man? I
Hawkinson
don't
only-
think like 4 games.
2023, where Hawkinson went for 960, Jordan Addison went for 911, and Justin
Yeah,
Jefferson went for
yeah.
1,000.
Word.
All right. What about Mahomes? Got to have a year, right? Like Tyreek Hill, Kelsey.
The third guy
Who
though.
else
The
was
third.
gonna have
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to think. After I said it, I was like, hold up.
The third.
All right.
guy.
So what about Tua with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle? Damn, I don't know the third guy though.
Third guy.
Damn. All right. So is Philip
The year is 2002.
2002?
Rams.
The third leading receiver on this team was Charlie Garner with 900 receiving yards.
Charlie.
The Eagles? No, the Raiders.
No,
Yeah. The Raiders.
the Raiders
Rich Gannon.
with
Tim
Tim
Brown,
Brown
Rick
with
Gannon,
900
yeah.
yards.
Charlie Gardner.
Yes, with
Wow,
100
dog.
yards.
Let's get back on that shit.
900.
Charlie Gardner was a beast, dog.
Did Charlie Garner ever play for the Eagles? I
No.
don't even know why they jumped into my
The
mind.
year is 2019.
Ooh. 2019.
Cincinnati.
This running back had 993 receiving yards.
Never mind.
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe
I'm
it's not Cincinnati. We're mixing Chase and T. Higgins.
Nope. The
I'm
running back
thinking-
had 993 receiving yards.
In 2019. Oh, 49ers.
Nope.
Damn. Think of McCaffrey.
They had a running back go for 993 yards and two receivers that both went for 1,000 yards.
Carolina?
It is a West Coast team, though.
Oh, it is a West Coast team. The Rams?
Mm-mm.
Let's see.
2019.
2019. The Chargers?
The Chargers, Austin Eckler, 900 receiving yards. Mike Williams, 1,000 yards. Keenan Allen, 1,000 yards.
Yeah, I was trying to think of running backs. I was like, who catches the ball?
Yeah, true. I was like, that shit was fucking me up. Like, damn.
And I was like, Justin Herbert throw the ball a lot.
That he does.
Like, I think it was something like his first 5 years, he had more passing attempts than Peyton did.
That's crazy.
Oh, I got one for y'all. The third leading receiver on this team. I mean, y'all gonna get it, but I want y'all to guess the year. Was Miles Austin with 943. Who were the other leading receivers?
Dez and Terrence Williams.
No. Dez and who else had 1,000 yards?
Cole Beasley.
With 110 catches.
It wasn't Cole Beasley?
Or Witten.
It was Jason Witten.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dude that Mike always
2012.
disrespecting.
I hate Jason Witten, so.
I know.
Again, I played against the Eagles and the Redskins and the Giants. We had Jason Witten. He could not block anybody, for one. It would be 3rd down and 8. Roman would throw on the ball on the third. It'd be 3rd down and 6. He would literally catch the football and fall.
I'm dead.
She was excruciating, my nigga. Like, I never like how many touchdowns in the season this nigga getting? Like 3. The most he's ever had is 5. He's not up there with the top tight ends in my opinion. From Gates, Shannon Sharp, Antonio Gonzalez. Like he's not on that level. He's not up there with Gronk. He's not up there with none of those guys in my opinion.
Is he the Nikola Jokic of tight ends?
No.
No, Jokic is better than that. I ain't gonna disrespect Jokic like that.
No, you can't do that. You said you would take Jokic over Shaq.
I will take Jokic over these. I'm definitely taking him over Patty or over Pat.
Pat who?
Everybody I sent that graphic to, everybody said the same thing immediately.
Oh, Patrick Ewing?
Oh, Patrick Ewing? Yeah, you got to get Patrick the fuck out of here. Those free throws he keep, bro. I'm just playing my mind like, yeah.
Yo, you remember that layup that he missed against the Pacers?
Yes, I remember that shit.
In
Trying
Game
to put
7?
it back. I said, what is Patrick doing, bro? Like, he had so many opportunities, bro. I really, for a long time, I thought Patrick was getting payola or some shit like that. I thought he was sharing.
I wish he was on here when James first came on. He said Pacers in 6 and Thunder in 5.
Okay. I mean, I've been wrong the whole playoffs, so I really don't have an opinion about shit. Just keeping it funky. Like I've been wrong about a lot of shit, so I don't know what to say at this point.
No, I got Knicks in 7, and
my opinion don't really fucking matter. I just want to see good basketball. I want to see Reggie Miller and Spike Lee talk shit. That's what I want to see.
I got Knicks in 7, and I got Thunder in 6.
So the leading receiver for this team was Haywood Jeffries with 11.
That's the Cleveland Browns, right?
No,
the Oilers.
Jeffries.
The Houston Oilers, 1991.
The Oilers. It was Haywood Jeffries, Ernest Givens.
Mm-hmm.
Who you say with the third one was?
Driving his bag.
Haywood Jeffries, Drew Hill, and Ernest Givens.
You don't remember them, Mike?
No.
Like Ernest Givens was the one. Ernest Givens was the one he used to do the touchdown celebration. Hold on, let me see if I can put my phone down. And he would do this like celebration like this. Like he'll score the touchdown, he'll bring his hand down like this.
Nope.
You don't remember that jump, bro?
Hell no.
That was my guy, bro. That was my touchdown celebration. I used to do that.
Okay, word.
That's how I remember it. Because the Oilers was my team at one point because I was a big Warren Moon fan.
Word. I like Warren Moon. I never got a chance to see the Oilers play though, believe it or not. As much football as I watched, I never see them niggas play a game.
No, unfortunately, I watched the whole game when they gave up that 35-3 against Buffalo.
To the Bills? Oh man, excruciating.
Yeah, that was the first year. I think that was the first year Buffalo made the Super Bowl.
Couldn't stop the bleeding, bro. They just kept on scoring points. Like, God, I rewatched that game myself on NFL films, but I was like, damn.
Yeah, that was the game. They were up 35-3. Jim Kelly got hurt, and Frank Wright came in.
Frank Wright. Yep, came in.
Yep, and you know And you know what's crazy about that is in college, Frank Reich had, at the time, he had the biggest comeback in college football history. He quarterbacked Maryland and came back from like 38-7 against Miami or something like that.
I fully believe that alone. That's why he got a coaching job.
For sure.
That shit alone, yo, you gotta put him in there. Like,
well, then where Doug Flutie coaching job at?
I know, right? Doug Flutie, the Flutie magic, dog. Him and Rob Johnson, that fucking quarterback controversy was hilarious.
Yeah, I know. I hated Rob Johnson too.
The quarterback of this unit was MVP Matt Ryan. Not the year he won MVP, but Matt Ryan.
So Julio was still probably on the team though.
Julio was one of them.
What's my guy name? Oh, it's the
Roddy
little.
White.
Is it the little short dude?
Not Gabriel.
Justin Gabriel. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Taylor Gabriel.
Taylor Gabriel.
Excuse me.
But it's not him.
Gonzalez?
It was Tony Gonzalez, 2012.
Tony was dogs. Tony, even at that time, was still that nigga, dog.
For sure.
Still was feared.
Absolutely. And that was it.
I wish he kept playing. I think he had a lot more to give. I actually hope Brooke come back for real.
So yeah, fellas, that was that list. Y'all already know. Back tomorrow for more lists, more stuff like that. We got my dog getting that motherfucking cardio in. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to my dog, motherfucking Dallas Mike, man. Hey, look, this has been the motherfucking Hot Box. We done reached that motherfucking hour and 41-minute mark in this here thing, man. Shout out to my dog, one half of Sports Reports, as ordered, 2-5. Mike Will representing live in the motherfucking building. And you already know I got my dog. He goes by many names, but we call him the One Mike. Shout out to the One Mike Pod. DJ Mike P, Cowboy Mike, Dakota Mike, Dallas Mike, tapping in the motherfucking building. Throw the motherfucking
put the foes up, nigga. Put the foes up. Put the foes up, nigga. Put the foes down.
Damn. Hold on, wait. Is the foes up or the foes down?
The foes are definitely up. Dad lost some weight, you know.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to Dakota. He in the cut just cooler, you know.
Shout out to Dakota in the cut.
He done lost some weight. I feel like he's gonna have a breakout year. I don't think he's gonna throw for no 5,000 yards. I think nigga was speaking with you know,
little enthusiasm.
Yeah, little enthusiasm. I think that we will put up some points, but I think we're gonna run the ball. I think Schottenheimer wants to run the football. So all indications show we drafted another lineman, so I'm thinking we're gonna run the ball personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that being said, man, we rolling the windows down. We letting the smoke out, man. You already know you catch us tomorrow for the goddamn. Well, hold down. We're not gonna be back till Tuesday. Tomorrow, Monday. Hell yeah, we're not gonna be back till the Thursday smoke rally. So with that being said, man, above all else, fuck Aaron Rodgers, fuck Kevin Durant, and fuck Rudy Gobert, bro. Fuck Rudy Gobert, bro.
Gobert.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fuck Rudy Gobert, bro.
And against your wishes, I'm adding Darius Garland.
Oh man.
Damn. How my nigga? You know what?
Oh man.
Fuck Darius Garland then.
Damn.
Fuck Darius Garland. You know what I'm saying?
Rolling with it. I'm
there
rolling
it is. Yeah, we got to roll with it. So yeah, man, catch us again for the Thursday smoke rally, man. Smoke with us next time.